Welcome back. I hope you had a good break. You ate, you drank, you made merry, as you do. And during the break, we did the same, and the players discussed a little bit of what's going to happen in the immediacy, which is effectively going to work out to who's taking shifts on pinging the little gribblers that are crawling out of the fire pit, while others take rests and attune, spend hit dice, things along those lines. Why is... Okay, there we go. So, what we're going to... Yes, we have both floofs.
Yeah. Brett has been refloofed.
It's not electric, though. It's a fiery floofaloo. Over the course of 2 hours, there's going to be... Mordecai is going to be reattuning, as well as giving a song of rest. Bright is going to take a moment to catch her breath and focus, do what she needs to do. I don't know, practice her letters, whatever brings her calm and refreshes her mind and body. Casimir's doing the thing. Professor, you're doing the thing, including reattuning. For each of you, Mordecai, when you reattune, while you have been, reset in a sense, no vampire, no fangs, no tentacle daggers, your eyes still do turn into that kind of dark metal with the red and gold flecked iris and pupils. So that does happen as you are reattuned back to the compass.
That's a compass thing, but I mean, one slight oddity versus several kind of debilitating mutations in vampirism.
I don't want to be deaf forever.
Yeah.
It is nice to hear things again.
Yeah.
So your eyeballs do spin around and, do what they were doing before. As a freebie in this to, get through the ground operation or the prep here. When you look for Jaden again, as I'm presuming that's what you're doing.
Yes.
You do find that while last time the line was showing you in this direction, a similar line extends, except it's over here.
Is it like two? Or is it just the line?
It's just one line. It's going in a different direction, though.
She's moved.
Is she moving? Can you tell if she's moving right now, or did she just teleport? Excuse me, did they just teleport?
It's been a couple of hours since the last time, so...
Well, maybe they're not that far. Maybe they're close, and that's why they're able to change their angles.
Move that quickly. Yeah, we should get a move on fairly quickly.
Yep. So...
and Professor, you were reattuning to... Wait, you're not reattuning to the map. You're reattuning to your packed rod. Yes.
Yeah, I was attuning to my my packed rod. Considering that and the gauntlet are very, very much interlinked.
Okay.
I'm the in character explanation is I'm using the rod as an anchor to basically recreate the connections, if you know what I mean. Okay. It's I know what should be there, and I know what the rod feels like, and I know what the gauntlet feels like, and basically just flowing the magic through each of them to recreate the connections that were there. Because it feels a little unnatural, a little bit of exposition. I know we want to get on with it, but a little bit of in-character exposition never really hurt anybody. The big thing about Cypher is that when he first found these gauntlets, he's probably musing this to himself quietly during his meditation on this, so that you guys could probably hear it. That it was a strange sensation, and that his curiosity and endurance was pushed to the limit. But now that he's been with this thing for so long, it's changed him a little bit, but for the better, and he's content to habit, for better or worse, that, you know, it kind of just became another part of his life. It became another part of him.
It's natural to have it and unnatural to not have it.
Not have it. Yeah. Well, I mean, when you have something for... I mean, I'd say that Cypher's probably had his powers for a few years. You know, he probably found it in his, you know... He's in his 50s. You know, he probably found it in anywhere between, like, early to late 30s. So, you know, he's probably had this up to 20 years now. That, you know, it's kind of just become... The gauntlet isn't really a separate entity anymore. It's something that's very much a part of him. And he's forming those, like, using that power to form those connections to be like, this is how it should be. And I'm sure there's enough residual magic from the imprint that it's left on him to do that.
You do welcome and see your old friend again, and it does feel nice after you reestablish that connection. But then you got to go on duty, and Bright needs to sit down and practice her letters for an hour.
Yeah.
All right.
As she does that, would be helping Casimir fight off the Gremlins, which I'm sure he's having fun with.
Oh yeah, I mean these things are really dumb. It's easy to kite them. It's just that they're a consistent nuisance. That requires that sort of attention, as if some detached, malevolent force was not allowing you to take a long rest simultaneously.
Yeah.
Truly, you are in hell.
I forget that I can create my own bubble like this.
We did think of a way to game it, but we thought better.
Hey, I will present you with what is going on. If you have a workaround, you're welcome to. You're still within my system that I've presented.
No, it would have been cheese.
Oh.
Yeah, it would have been cheese.
Complete cheese.
Like by raw, it works, but it's also cheese.
Oh.
So.
Well, then I appreciate your discretion. All right, so 2 hours pass. I mean, Casimir's just, whatever, running around, flying around, flexing.
Smash the Gribbler.
Yeah.
Cut the Gribbler in half.
And the 2 hours pass, which is... It's a little weird because, I mean, probably an hour passed. You feel as if, you've taken plenty of times to, sit on a log on the roadside or just, jam out on a bench in a park. It feels like an hour's passed. Again, though, there's no discernible time. No sun moving, no moon rising or setting. Pardon me. No chickens, cock-a-doodle doing. Though, it's a little weird, was that hour? The professor like, oh, yes, I feel one with my rod once more. And then Bright begins her study after the shift change. The professor goes out hunting with Casimir and popping these little flesh bags, crawling out of the fires. And, Bright, you're sitting down and doing this, and yeah, I mean, you feel like you took a break, but I don't know, maybe Mordecai, you're there, you're kind of doing your own thing, but you're playing music, you have a sense of timing, and yeah, it could have been an hour. I don't know, maybe it felt like a kind of a quick hour. Bright's like, oh yeah, I'm whatever you manifested in game. Mechanically, you all have had the short rests as you described, but I don't know, the timing's just a little weird.
Time's wibbly wobbly.
You may want to take another check to see where the investigator is.
We haven't taken a rest since the update.
Pardon.
Sorry, what?
We haven't spent any time since the update. We were just getting some backfill.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that was back. Oh, that was backfill.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, well, if it was backfilled, then if we're all good to go, then
Mordecai,
let's put out the last fire and get going.
it might be a good idea for you to summon Jasper anyway, just so we'll have him. I mean, if nothing else, he's pretty powerful, and you can always send him away again if he needs it.
I could just summon Bride though.
Well, it's not just for transportation. I mean, he's
competent in a
he's a good
stressful
fighter.
situation.
I mean, to be fair, so are the owls. I mean, do you remember when we assaulted a Shadahar airship with just us and those owls? And those owls put in some real work.
Yeah, the owls are good, but they also don't. I mean, Jasper lasts forever, and
Yeah, Jasper does last until dismissed or dispelled. So I think Jasper is probably the better. Keep the
I'll
owls for if
continue
we
smashing
need it.
for 10 more minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. It's gonna be 10 minutes to summon
Well,
Jasper.
the professor can help you smash.
Yeah.
Oh, no, while they're doing their last smashing, I want to cast Detect Magic and just do one last look around to see if there's any magical things that we didn't spot.
I mean, you've got the time for a ritual, considering Mordecai's casting a long spell, so.
Yeah, it takes the same amount of time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jasper is summoned. He's a large creature.
Bright, there's nothing else besides the signal beam that you've detected on. It's acting just like it did before.
Yeah. What about the little puddles of goo? Are those magic?
Those are not showing up as magical, no.
Okay.
But then again, neither are the... Technically, actually, we could throw this in as a clue or extra information. When a fireball hits the exterior shield, it's not showing up as, like, an evocation spell. It just is, like, whatever, a natural fireball. It's just a part of what this place is.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have... I mean, our rain isn't magic in the regular world.
Yeah.
It's just rain. So,
Actually... Question.
Yes?
Because I'd be able to see this very simply. The fireballs, are they, like, coming down from the sky like rain, or are they, like, in an arc?
They are streaking down... they're streaking down at angles. It's intermittent. I mean, some hit the shield directly, others around. But it's not like every 10 seconds is a new fireball at you or anything. Like, the number of strikes has been maybe... like 5 over the course of several hours, and that's not even on the shield. That would just be like around. If you were just jamming out, I don't know, like right here by this fire pit, and the shield wasn't there, then maybe the maximum range of it might have scorched you a little bit. So there doesn't seem to be a particular intelligence, malevolence, or purpose. It's just like, I don't know, the clouds just swell up with fire and.
They're just coming down from the sky rather than like arcing through the sky as if they were like flung by some sort of catapult or something.
Yeah, it's just falling down.
Alright. Just thought that I'd check that, because hell.
I am about half spent at this point when it comes to magic, though.
Yep, so we're gonna wanna.
But thankfully, the kinds of things I learned from Celine seem to be pretty effective, so...
Well, I mean, that's one thing that you can remember about Celine. She was an exceptionally effective spellcaster.
We're ready to get going?
Yeah.
Then let's go.
Okay.
And I follow... We put out the fire and we follow the compass towards where Jaden may be.
Yep.
Sure.
It's overworld travel time. And we also have a Jasper.
Yes.
So if you want to spawn the Jasper token.
Ba-ba-da-bum. Is that on me or is that on your sheet, Mordecai?
I can't resize it, so
That's
you'd have
on
to
you.
turn him into a large creature.
Sure.
But, yeah.
No problem. I'm on the selector, and we're going to go bloop. Now, Jasper does manifest in a not very Jaspery fashion. You are getting what we would call more like a chimera. Jasper's tail is like a scorpion stinger, almost like that armor that you saw. You know, it had that stinger on it. Very, very leathery wings, and a I don't know. Instead of an eagle or a lion head, you can give it I don't know, an animal that you want that's not a griffin head, but kind of creepy. But yeah, so it manifests, fires and embers and stuff, you know, erupt instead of the normal spell conclusion fanfare, and it's Jasper. Jasper responds to you, has the characteristics that you'd expect, just in a different appearance.
But he still responds to his name and everything. So
yes.
Yeah. It could just be, you know,
he just probably looks different, just like Piggy Sue.
hell shenanigans affecting summoning magic.
Yep.
Okay, well let's get going. We'll just have to watch for falling balls of fire.
Yep.
Okay. So you can easily scoop some goop into the last fire, and that is going to cause this red tin shield to begin to flicker, and much like it built up, it is going to then retreat back down.
And then we're leaving. Very quickly, before we can get hit by fireballs.
Yep.
Do you have a plan on, is someone like keeping a specific eye out for them, or?
I'm observant, so they're probably not gonna move past my eyes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not very observant, so someone else should watch.
Mordecai's
Yeah,
definitely
no.
gonna keep an eye out.
Mordecai will probably be on watch, because for the simple fact of he has perception modifier equals stupidly high.
I tend to have my head in the clouds, but strangely that doesn't give me any advantage seeing things in the clouds.
Okay. So
that's kind of weird actually, because the reason I even took the observant feat is because he's a vampire. That's weird.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Vampiric senses.
Weird.
Well, I mean, vampiric senses, but at the same time, I mean, basically you would be used to that level of sense already. So
True.
it would probably just translate. It would probably just translate into the fact that your senses in general have gotten more acute.
You know, your ears remanifested. Maybe if there's a little wax buildup, it's gone now. You know, you're kind of clearly.
Maybe you just needed glasses all along and realized this is how you're naturally supposed to.
Yeah.
All right, so you all are off and scurrying over.
Some overworld travel.
You are scurrying over a blasted hellscape.
Oh,
Yay!
Yay!
Blasted hellscape!
we just walked into Mordor.
We did just walk into Mordor.
So this is a representation. It seems like these mountains are on the horizon. Where you're at though is a lot flatter. You're still getting the more like the wasteland, like the baked in cracks in the soil. You're getting you know, there's some hills, definitely some craters from where instead of fireballs these meteors hit. A lot of scorched earth, salt flat looking area beyond this original tower, this 40-foot tower that you landed on, and just always in the distance are these black jagged peaks. But you start off and you You know, there's still a line, Mordecai, that is that you can see. The others can't. The others, you can see that the compass points in a direction, but Mordecai, you see a line extending from that. But your eyes are also googly eyes, so you have that going on too. Now that you're fixed on, your eyes are actually fixed. But when you were sensing again, they kind of did that whole rollback and were... Blah, 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 blah. You got crazy eyes going on.
It's calculating trajectory.
But I'm also keeping my eyes on the sky periodically to make sure that we're not going to get hit by fireballs.
Yeah, what your passive perception is what?
Passive perception is 27.
Oh, that's very good. All right. Then...
That is pretty good.
That is.
Also,
because I have expertise in perception too.
Oh, man, that was a 19. All right, Mordecai. Mordecai, you spot one coming down. It looks like it'd be on a dangerous trajectory, but you are able to get the party to veer off to the side.
Good.
But they still do rain down.
Casimir, Dark Wolf just brought up a good point. These are mountain. This would be considered mountainous, yeah?
No, not where you're at.
No?
In the distance, on the horizon, there seem to be mountains. In fact, there's mountains in all directions. Like, you just turn around, and there's just mountains completely around you all.
Yeah, that's when we get to the mountain.
Yeah, but when you get to the mountains...
Yeah, okay. I'm guessing we're heading towards the mountains? Heading towards Mount Doom?
You can't not go in a direction that doesn't have mountains on the horizon.
Okay, so they're everywhere.
Yes. They are everywhere eventually. Well, I guess they're everywhere currently, but eventually you'll get to them.
Okay. So we'll just continue following the line and keeping our eyes out for fireballs to make sure that we don't get hyper burnt. Because that portion of fire resistance is worn off.
Okay. So you're heading out, rested up. You have things. You have a wind in your sails, despite it being very warm. In fact, do any of you not have, after these several hours, because it's been 2, then there was an attunement before that, it's been at least 3 hours spent so far in here? Do any of you not have any kind of fire resistance going?
I'm naturally fire resistant.
You are?
Yeah, I think we drank some potions, but that would have lasted only... How long did they last?
An hour.
An hour? Okay. Yeah, and I never even drank mine, so...
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we looking at con saves versus exhaustion, then?
I am used to the heat.
Your bodily purge would have also done a number on that as well. But yeah, go ahead and make a con save, as you might be experiencing some desert heat.
25.
Oh.
I already know.
I'm gonna use
I'm from
my
This is nice. At least it's a dry heat.
Told you.
Casimir.
Oh, Casimir.
Casimir the consistent.
I cannot make saves.
All right. Well,
I was fighting gribblers for 10 hours.
Yeah, that's true. Your muscles are very toned, but you are suffering from one level of exhaustion as we are traipsing through just this unending. At least the Aslandian deserts had sand blowing around. There's even kind of a wind. Here it's just hot. You get these mirages coming up every once in a while. It looks like maybe there's maybe like a lava pool off in a distance, or just like you see reddish glow just coming up through the cracks as well. Pardon. But yeah, so Casimir, you're dragging a little bit here, and
doing memento.
That's fine. About the time, Casimir. So I mean, you're starting to I don't know, maybe you're getting a headache, however you want to manifest the this level of exhaustion. It is you just one moment, please. There's something as you collect yourself, and Peggy Sue lets out a scream. Ah! And catches on fire. Apparently, it's that hot that this familiar just spontaneously combust. The feathers just burn up and sort of like fly up as little ash. And then you see this bird just singe down to the bone. And then even the bone ignites. And after the bone ignites, Peggy Sue just sort of stretches her wings out, folds them back, kind of looks around with eyes that don't exist, but apparently she can look around. And
is she okay? Mordecai says
She,
right.
I don't. I guess I. Just a minute. Just a minute. I'll be right back. I should have done this during the break.
oh. Well, before we get the details from Bright, then, yeah, you all would see that Peggy Sue has spontaneously combust, screamed, feathers, burning feathers falling from her form, but then she's just a charred skeleton in an aura of fire, and is back to doing bird stuff.
Okay.
It did sound
Can I
painful there
figure
for a
out-
minute.
Could I figure out what that means?
She looks a little different.
Oh. As a fiery fox.
Like, seeing that, could I figure out what that means?
What?
Did that come through?
What?
I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I was gonna, like, upon seeing that, would I be able to figure out what that means? Because I did see Bright beat a buried apparent Peggy Sue.
Yeah. Oh, Peggy Sue manifested in this form, reverted into another form after eating a berry, and has now spontaneously combust and looks mostly the same as she did when she was first manifested by Bright. Oh, by the way, Mordecai, can you please roll a con save for Jasper?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's Jasper's, yeah.
So, yep, that tells me, the effects of the berries are temporary.
Well, they might be. But these are also magical creatures, so maybe maybe it's different for them.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
Suppose
too
we'll find out
surprised.
if I turn back into a vampire.
I just hope we don't get our disabilities back. I don't
Yeah, I don't want to be deaf.
I don't want to be covered in scabs. And I don't think Bright wants to be lopsided and made of glass.
Yeah, they're all pretty bad except for Casimir's. His are fun.
He's basically a monster.
Most of Mordecai's are pretty fun.
They look fun.
It's just the deafness.
Yeah, and I mean,
having
which of us is
tentacles
not a
and-
monster, really? See? Okay, let's keep going.
Casimir open.
Okay. The march continues. It is still hot. Peggy Sue does not suffer any ill effects beyond being on fire and a charred skeleton. Other than that, she's happy and healthy. The direction is still pointing, Mordecai.
Is she hot to the touch?
She's warm, but fire should be hot and not warm. So
yeah, okay.
She's manageable if you need to have her on your shoulder or something.
I mean, I just wondered.
Yep. So yeah, more time is passing. You continue to traipse on. It is still hot. There's not really wind. Oh, oh, hey. I do need. All of you can make a dex save at advantage because Mordecai is still very observant. But this one must have been a faster. What's that?
Yeah, and it came faster.
All right.
To save.
It's a good thing that I had advantage.
Oh, Professor, you were deep in thought about something. Mordecai says duck, and maybe you're like, no, I don't. Peggy Sue is not a duck. And so you are going to take the brunt of this, which it's not too terrible. 13 fire damage, half on a save, and half again if you're resistant.
I get none.
Yep, because Shield Master for Casimir.
Ah.
So
Which is
so
good
that'll-
because I'm tired.
half
that'll
to
be-
7, half to 4.
Up to 3. Round out.
Yeah, because it goes to 6, not 7.
Yeah.
Oh, is it round down? I thought it was
Yep.
round up.
Nope, round down.
It depends.
Always round. No, D&D is always round down.
Always round down, but sometimes the way it's written.
If it says
It
round
specifically
up,
says otherwise, yeah.
It'll specifically say otherwise, but otherwise it's always round down. But no, basically you see Cypher, Cypher in thought. Mordecai's like fireball duck, and Cypher's looking around like, what duck? And then you see the fireball just hit Cypher direct on. And after it disappears, you just see him like he's covered in soot and ash, and he's just like,
Okay.
and like a
forget to-
puff of smoke comes out.
Does the fireball affect Peggy Sue and Jasper? I mean, Peggy Sue could fly, so.
Yes, they will need to make saves at advantage as well. But they can understand the panicked, get out of here. Maybe Peggy Sue just she thinks, oh, that's actually a cool name, Fireball Duck. Maybe that's what I'm at. That's what I am.
Okay, because she only has 1 hit point, so she can't really survive it.
Oh, gotcha. Well, it's she's unfortunately in this case a fire bat in appearance, but she is she's a bird otherwise. So Peggy Sue will be consumed by the fireball.
Oh,
Hey, Sue, no!
well,
No.
that's unfortunate. Okay.
We'll have to do a
She should have
resummoning
went to
later.
her pocket plane. Sad.
Well, yeah, I guess. Okay. Okay.
Jasper's okay though.
Jasper's a little singed, but otherwise good to go.
I thought she might not be vulnerable because she's fiery now. Okay. Well, we'll get home and light up some incense. I wonder if I brought incense with me. I think I probably did.
Yeah,
I think you
probably
did.
would have.
I do have 1 set of incense.
You
left.
waved them at the demon.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. You did.
So, when we get to a stopping place, I'll just resummon her. I'm sure I can find a way to start a fire.
I am
Okay.
positive you can do that.
How would you ever start a fire in this?
Alright, well, we'll just keep going, and bummer. Okay.
Okay.
Get close enough to a lava pit, something to catch.
So we press forward, and still mountains in the distance. I mean, the cracks in the ground there are cracks in the ground, but they're not the same cracks in the ground. And time has been passing enough that, if there was a pattern, one of the 4 of you, in some capacity, most likely would have caught it. So you're making progress, but I mean, there's not exactly scrub brush or things along those lines. Jaden's
Kratos?
line hasn't. It's not, it's not bending so that you're walking in a circle. The classic trick of getting lost in the woods. You have direction, but almost no movement.
Yeah. Well,
Do we want to speed this up?
I mean, how much speedier can we go?
I can teleport us.
I was thinking more horses.
I was thinking.
So
Or owls.
I mean, we don't know
What
how
evil?
we don't have any idea how far it is. It could be 1,000 miles, or, I mean, we don't really know. I mean, we thought she would be close because of how quickly she transmoved from one place to another. But if she was really that close, we would have made some progress by now.
Some visible progress. It doesn't look like the mountains have gotten closer to us at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
there's nothing. You're
We're gonna have to
walking
try
on
and
ground,
teleport
and even every once in a while, there's still a crater, and that crater would look different than the last crater. But it's all
We're
just
gonna
blasted crater open landscape.
We're gonna have to try. We're gonna have to try a teleport then.
How far can Mordecai teleport?
It's plain wide. There's no distance
I
on that.
can... The tricky part of it is that it
We
can be
might
a little
mishap
finicky.
ourselves in the wall.
Yeah, I mean, we could totally get splinched.
Yeah, let's not get splinched. I could maybe try and teleport us to some place I can see. Like
You can see
to
the
top of that
mountains.
mountain over there or something.
Yeah, you can see the mountains. That would do something. Let's try that. I bet that. I mean, what do we have to lose?
Can only do that once a day though.
You sure you don't want to try animals first?
Yeah. If I blow this, I can't teleport us anywhere.
I mean, I'm starting to get
After
a.
that.
Are we starting to get a little tired?
I've been tired. You guys all had to rest.
Casimir
You got
has
no
been
excuse.
tired, and this is like you are actively, sweating, and this is going to be coming up to another wave of exhaustion, or at least a check. If you, we're still at heat though. I'm not at physical exhaustion yet, but yes, you do feel like, wow, I could use some cold water. This isn't like the Fey Cave where your appetites were suspended. Any sort of bodily necessities were suspended. You are walking. Your knees hurt. Mordecai, your body still kind of aches as you're getting reused to your
time
mortal.
in a long time.
Yeah, you haven't felt these feelings in a while, so maybe you savor it, but also it's a pain in the butt. So yeah, things are going on with you.
Well, I think I don't know. I would take us just straight to the mountains. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But at least you can see it, so there's no chance of a mishap.
Although there is a chance for a mishap, but it's small.
If you can see it, no, it's 0 chance.
No, if you can see
It's
it, if
magic.
you can
There's
see it.
always chance for mishap.
So familiarity. Very familiar is a place you've been very often, a place that you've carefully studied, or a place that you can see when you cast the spell. And the mishap chance is between 1 and 5, a 1 and a 5 on a D100. So like it can mishap, but it's a 25% chance of. It's a very slim chance of anything going wrong. It's only a 5% chance that it's a proper mishap.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's what I would do. But
That's our only
You can-
escape plan if I use it though.
Well, it's not like we're gonna be able to use it to actually get out of here.
yeah, we
per
can't
se,
teleport
so-
off the plane.
So
If
we
it's find ourselves in a pinch though, I only
Why don't we
have
try
my little
animals
teleport.
first and then do teleport?
Yeah, I mean, if you want, there's.
Let's try that, yeah.
we'll do
There's
animals
plenty of
first.
magic.
If I use the teleport, I only have Dimension Door, and I can only take one person with me in that. But I've seen that teleportation circle we've been to at the tower. I could get us back here if we ever need to. Back there.
I'm going to summon 2 giant eagle.
Okay, and then the rest of us
Two
can ride on
giant
Jasper.
eagles.
Well,
And Peggy Sue could fly alongside, except she died.
yeah, Bright, you just share ride with one.
Yeah, I'll just ride on Jasper along with Mordecai.
Okay.
And so, two giant eagles soaring through the sky.
What manifest are giant eagles in vague shape. However, their appearance would be more like... if you've seen the Arclight Phoenixes from the Ravnica setting.
Yes.
So
we're riding Arclight Phoenixes.
They're these birds made of fire and electricity. And there's
cool.
A vague bodily shape that's made by kind of like this plasma core, holding onto like a bird shape. It kind of like twitches and flares. But you have these things made of kind of this hellfire and lightning that manifest. But they don't burn you. I mean, you could pet them. They're kind of warm, like Peggy Sue was.
All right. So we mount up and we take off.
Sure. Fly, fly, fly. Flap, flap, flap.
Yep.
Do we make
Yeah.
progress?
Yeah, is there any progress that we make? Over the hour?
Eagles fly at 80 feet.
Yeah. And
Yep.
I have two things that I would like to say. One, I'd like to go up pretty high, so we get a better vantage point. And also, I'd like to look over the ground and see how the ground works. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Like we get up high enough, we'll be able to see landmarks, if any,
Weirdness.
or yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe if it's just a really big repeating pattern, or
Okay. Sure. Go ahead and Bright, give me if you want to go survival straight up, you can. I'll also allow an intelligence-based survival for you.
okay, well that's what it'll be then. I'll just roll straight intelligence because I don't have proficiency.
Okay.
12.
From here you are seeing differences. It doesn't seem you're not getting that same vase on a table in the hall Scooby-Doo cycle. It's the landscape is just more of the same, but it's not the same. You haven't seen a blast pattern like that. So this meteor was its own thing, or it's not Jawas, it's too accurate, it was stormtroopers. It's you are seeing little fissures, things that you haven't seen really from the ground. While you always suspected that there might have been little lava pools and such, though, Bright, you do notice little shimmering lava pools that are hidden in some wider cracks, or even sort of partially set into a hill that has a little drop off that would lead to a little lava pool just there. So there are some things you haven't seen before, but there's still no progress towards the mountains, or if it is, the mountains are just ginormous and so far in the distance, it's taken a while.
But no landmarks of any kind.
Well, what are you... Because I can talk about things like craters and lava pools. So what are you talking about?
Like big towers.
Towers or civilization or signs of life.
Oh, okay. All right.
Some other way besides the mountains to track progress in some fashion.
So the hour passes, and your Arclight Phoenixes are going to run their course.
Hold on, I'm not done.
Oh, sorry.
So, Mordecai, while we're up this high, do you see the line that follows? Does it have an angle to it? Like, is it angling down towards the ground, or is it heading straight off horizontally?
It is. It doesn't angle down. It is still
straight ahead.
Well, it's still kind of dripping off the compass, but it's not. It's still going towards the ground and running along the ground like it did when you were up on the tower.
Okay.
But it's not like you're holding a flashlight and you point it up and then the light is up. It's still in the same direction. It still drips down, but it's so there's no indication of height to the direction.
Okay.
Okay.
Seems like it traces the ground. It doesn't trace
so it's not,
the air.
not capable of triangulation. Okay. Okay, well that was what I wanted to do.
Fair
Okay.
enough.
Then anything else then before the hour of your arc lights fizzle?
I don't see anything besides just the mountains and the flatland.
Not in this segment, no.
Okay.
Do we get an idea of the vastness of the flatland?
Oh yes, this is even though you're going at this speed, because let's see, generally every 10 feet of speed about scales to 1 mile per hour. So if it has a speed of 80, I mean, good thing there's not bugs here, because you'd be getting them in your teeth. Bright, your floofs are flapping in the wind. At Mordecai, you get a cool resonance between your horns or something as they vibrate like a little tuning fork or something. I don't know.
8 miles an hour isn't that fast.
I'll let you drive down the highway and have a horsefly hit your hand as you're going outside, but
Yeah, technically we don't have any protections from anything.
no windshield.
But yeah, we have we're exposed.
But
I mean,
there's not really
didn't you
a
say
wind.
10 feet of speed is 1 mile an hour? That actually seems really low to me. Because like if
80 feet per 6 seconds.
okay, so that's about 12 to 15 feet per second. 13 and change feet per second.
Anyway.
Yeah. I mean,
But nothing. It's vast. It's empty.
That's running speed. It's not that fast.
Okay. You are. Well, you got to remember though, it's not just 80; it's 160 because they're double moving.
Okay.
They would be double moving, so
yeah.
Well, it's still okay. It's just a good clip.
A good clip is an excellent way to summarize that. Yeah, so you're you're thinking about this, and you're looking for landmarks, and these considerations, these discussions come up, and your arclight phoenixes are beginning to fizzle. Casimir, you have this internal magical timer. You can land them.
Mm-hmm.
However. Oh, hey, Casimir, that's you. Your number, or at least going 1, 2, 3, 4 on my screen, anyway. Casimir.
I hope Casimir doesn't have to make a save.
No. But Casimir, these things are being talked about here as you're riding in a squad. Your Arclight Phoenixes are beginning to fizzle, and it's probably good because something just snapped against your forehead, and you feel like a gooey drip going down your face. You take 1 point of piercing damage. And you can make a con save at advantage.
Oh.
Do I have a +1?
Yeah. All of you are floating a +1 from, I think it was Purple Neko. Oh, it's a good thing you did. Okay. All right. So yeah, your forehead kind of tingles. I don't know. Maybe you're gonna grow a horn or something. Who knows? But you manage to you suck the horn back into your forehead, and but man, there's like a fist size. Used to be something. I mean, people often wonder what's the last thing that went through a bug's mind when it hits the windshield. It's usually its butt. So, I mean, this thing just crumpled against you, and you just have a wad of oozy chitin. But yeah.
It's the mutagenic goop.
You didn't. Get out of here. But yeah, so one actually slammed into you. Like you hit it. Or it hit you. But the arc lights start going down. Then they kind of dink, 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 and then they go out.
We have landed at this point.
As you're landing as well, Mordecai, there's the monotony of the salt flats. When you're having this conversation, everyone kind of looks over at Casimir and goes, "Ugh, what happened?" There's kind of a smoke. I don't want to call it fog. Fog is too light and wonderful and would actually feel refreshing and not horrible. And that's not why we're here tonight. There's definitely a smoke clinging to the ground, and as your arc lights start winking out of existence, there's a slight breeze as well now, something that wasn't really felt. It's not a refreshing breeze, it's still a warm breeze. I won't have you make the con saves for heat, because you do at least you still have, you're making your own wind through the vehicle, and as you're landing, you were looking for something like a landmark.
Yeah.
And there's fog that's starting to just disperse ahead of where you landed. Now, you didn't see a big fog patch in the distance, but it's, after you kind of, I don't know, you make a sly comment or something to Casimir, you just look over because he goes, ugh. And you, and not just you, but the others do see that there's some fog down on the ground. And as it's rolling past, there are, well, maybe it's a landmark. It's certainly different. Looks like an old battlefield. Pikes, swords jutting out of the ground. The ground itself isn't cracked like a salt flat. It is still rather wasteland looking, though it has the rusty tinge of blood and just wet soil, but maybe not in a good way. And there are bodies that, as you can see in the picture, are impaled upon some of the pikes, skeletons with swords, jutting through them at various angles. There are heads on display. It is, and there's just a persistent smoke now on the ground level that you can see, maybe about 50 feet ahead of you through it. So it'd be like a light fog, except it's a light smoke, and you smell the charred flesh, the charred wood. You smell even something that might have once been comforting, like lantern oil or something. You're smelling burnt oil. But there is this field that is ahead of you after these creatures have landed.
The heads and bodies, do they look humanoid?
Yes.
Or monstrous?
They make make a medicine as well. They are humanoid. A lot of these are in poor condition. Some traits are going to be easy to distinguish. Does it have horns? Probably a tiefling. Oh, look at that! Look at that crit.
20.
All right. So you are seeing, humans. You're seeing elves. From the bones and even some of the flesh, oddly enough, that still sags but remains. You are seeing tieflings.
This looks like a war zone.
Yeah.
You
Like a
are...
battlefield.
And ahead, kind of in the distance as well, you can make out a shape. Through the smoke ahead. Kind of behind. And that appears just... You'd have to walk further. Is that a giant's hand kind of reaching up? It's not moving. It's dead. There's like a finger bent back and split, and...
maybe where giants and humanoids fought the last battle. Or something like that.
When did that happen?
That's ancient history.
Thousands of years ago.
Then why is it here? Maddie, out of character.
Yes.
Is this something that we learned that I might have not remembered because of the time we were off?
This is this would be learned in the party's recent history, was that there was a time when the dragons and giants were dominant.
Oh, right, there were giants too, not just
Yeah.
the dragons. Okay, all right,
Yep.
all right. Okay, I remember now. Okay.
And there are even, like we see over here too, there's even like a little body on a pike, and that could very well be a gnome.
That's probably a halfling.
You are not seeing dwarves as you're walking.
Well, that's interesting. Do we know the origin for the dwarves, like what their lore is?
Mm-mm. They are not native to Mesotopia. They live to the north and east, and from what you've put together from your prior investigations, they were there before the Shadahar fled the Mesotopia region and chose to settle and sort of conquer that area that existed. So the ones that you met at Browbeat are like they either fled or they moved or something happened where they managed to actually go south and they found a home in the Browbeat Mountains.
I think we even had a theory at one point that they're descended from humans, dwarves.
Yes.
Yeah, no, there was a mention from Cypher, from his knowledge of Shadahar history, that the like if they're not here, they live in the mountains in the northeast.
Yeah. So, I'd like to check the weapons that have been abandoned. Are there giant-sized weapons? Like the people that seem to be killed and impaled, are they killed by giant-sized weapons, or does it look like humans fought each other here?
You are mostly finding humanoid-sized weapons, even some for smaller folk. For the giants, you are seeing some spears and clubs. Very simple weapons, but you are seeing that with the size that they're at, are very effective. There are also people along the trail that appear to be crushed with nothing in sight. It's
the giants. Do they have one eye or two?
You haven't come across a whole giant yet. This is just in the distance. This is a hand kind of reaching up that you can see through the not the fog, the smoke.
Okay.
How close are we?
It doesn't look like the giants fought the humans because the humans were killed with human-sized weapons. So that it could be related, but it can't be this actual battle.
Something took place here, and it's ominous.
Everything is so dense and stacked, too.
You don't put heads on a pike unless you're trying to make a statement.
Yeah.
At least that's what I've learned of ancient history, anyway.
No, it makes sense. Do you remember how Celine was able to... Well, after she died, she was able to answer just a few questions? Does anyone know how to do that?
I haven't picked that one up yet.
Okay.
Can't say that I do.
Want to, but I haven't picked that one up yet.
I think that should be allowed.
There were lots of things that she could do that no one else can.
Yeah. Well, so how far on does the battlefield go? I mean, the giant's hand is off in the distance, right?
Yep. It is off in the distance. The battlefield, though, you can really only see about 50 feet ahead of you through this smoke.
Okay.
I think we proceed with caution.
Yeah, I mean, I could cast a detect magic if we want.
See if there's anything useful
Or dangerous.
for that.
I mean,
It couldn't hurt.
yeah, okay. Well, I'll take the 10 minutes.
Okay. You all jam out for 10 minutes in this location. Detect magic goes up. Things here are not glowing.
Okay. There's nothing here.
How
Let's...
close do you have to be?
30 feet.
Yeah, you have to get pretty close to those things.
Well, I thought we were pretty close.
Are
To
we
at least
going
some of them.
through?
Let's navigate, I guess.
Yeah, let's go toward that giant hand, see what the big deal is.
Okay.
Proceed with caution, keeping my eyes peeled. Because I don't want to get jumped.
If any of you are resistant to poison, you do not have to make a con save. Otherwise, the smoke and the smell is becoming, over time as you're trudging through, is becoming problematic.
Kind of toxic.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Let's see what happens here. Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
I'm not vampiric anymore. I'm not
No.
resistant or immune to poison
Yeah.
or anything like that anymore.
Casimir?
I'm just checking stuff. Nope.
We can just assume that Casimir.
If you want. I mean, just to make it even, but...
And
it was a
here
con save?
is,
Yep.
Yep.
here is for Jasper.
Oh, look at
Hey,
you!
made it!
That's a 10 for Jasper.
Okay. For those of you that, I guess for everyone else except Casimir, right now you are in
Casimir's just slightly above the smoke.
you're using your ear flappers to kind
I'm
of
also like
blow it
7
away.
feet now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're wading through here, a little thinner, maybe a
Almost
couple
a
feet
large
up.
creature.
For those of you that failed, you have the poisoned condition right now. As you are breathing smoke, and it's kind of, it's burning your eyes, and you have to stop and kind of clear out your lungs every now and again.
That's ick.
That means what?
Poison isn't really
Disadvantage?
that bad. Disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks. Yeah.
Well, poo.
Yep, not saves. So if I need another save, at least there's that. What I would like now, as you are wading further and further in, you want to move towards that hand that you see through the smoky distance.
If you can.
I would like... This is a guaranteed success given the party's composition, but I want to see just how... Casimir, I'm going to use you as the barometer for the party, because this is not your forte, and I want to see if even you are picking up on this. Now, you are a ranger, you are versed with weapons of war, but I would like you to roll a history check, just straight up. Oh, there we go. That's not too bad.
Respectable.
Further in. Behind you, you cannot see any of the wasteland. And, of course, none of the mountains are visible. In fact, behind you even, it's almost as if these rows of pikes and heads and swords and corpses are almost closing, such that you can still see about 50 feet all around you, but that's all you're getting. But now you are in the thick of things, and there is progress towards the giant hand. It is looming, it is looming larger. All of you, for a moment, stop. And with all due respect, even Casimir picks up on the fact that the weapons you're seeing are of Shadahar make and emblem. When you can look past the gore and the bloody mud and parts that are not broken or are still sheathed inside a corpse, you are seeing a pattern. Maybe your eyes flow over to the professor's gauntlet because you're seeing nothing exactly like it. The gauntlet does stand out even amongst this, but there's still just a methodology of crafting that you're seeing that's consistent. And of course, you are seeing this symbol of a creature in a circle eating its own tail with the emblem of all things in time stamped on it.
And I have a modern Shadahar short sword on my belt.
Ah, you do. That's true.
That I can compare it to.
There are some differences. I guess for the period such as it exists that we're playing in, this would be a more modern, like a better engineered. I don't know. It can be ground sharper, or it has a blood groove and the other ones didn't because they just didn't think of that at the time, or something small. I'm not a weaponsmith. I can lob out a couple terms, but in general, yes, you have. There are similarities. Though what you're seeing here would be a more primitive sword, more primitive spear. Still effective, obviously, very obviously.
Could I guess how old?
This is. Oh, you know what?
I've seen the older Shadahar logo.
Yeah,
on the
you
Lily
have. Bright. That is giving you strong vibes of the nails or the rivets that you saw on the ship. And I will also say that what you're reading is, legible for Infernal, but this is the written form of that kind of ye olde Infernal that the big guy with wings was speaking. So you can pretty well make out what it is. Like, we can read Middle English. Not everything may make sense, but you kind of get the gist. That's what you're getting here.
Yeah, these are old.
Well, either these are old or we are not in the right time period. Or both.
Can I go up and examine and put the cinch pin in that? Given my specialty in Shadahar history and all of that.
Go ahead and roll a history, but do it at disadvantage. I mean, I understand that this is a specialty, but this would be fishing for something that would be very archaic.
Plus, he's poisoned.
And you are also poisoned.
No. Just straight up. And the poison's getting to me.
You try to think, but nothing happens.
Can't think properly.
I've had days like that.
Yeah. You go into a coughing fit, but you avert your eyes because you don't want to blow a blood vessel coughing, so you just.
That's.
Well. Yeah, this is definitely something weird.
At the very least, I can tell it's old and it's Shadahar.
I think we already should. We all.
Yeah, I know things that everyone knows.
Mordecai, ahead, as you have super senses still, you hear, coming from the forward direction of this giant hand that's kind of still like clutching up, you hear something kind of squishing through this more and more damp soil, but it's not a good type of damp. But you just hear heavy footsteps, regular footsteps, though, and just 2 steps. So maybe one creature with 2 feet, or I guess 2 creatures with 1 foot that are very well timed.
Something's coming this way.
Armored? You hear metal.
I am definitely going to ready something. I kind of pull out a weapon. I don't know what's coming at us.
Yeah, are fireballs still falling?
No, they are not.
Okay.
And I tell everyone else that something's coming. Where's the compass point?
We don't want to fight here. We all have disadvantage on everything. Or however I would say that in character. We don't want to fight here because there's a
smoke.
This
It would be
cloud of smoke gives us a disadvantage.
Good save. Good save. Immersion retained.
Yeah, let's get out of here. We kind of get the gist of what's going on here.
So I am. Oh no, that's unfortunate. I would cast a spell, but my spell slots are not in the right configuration right now. That's so sad.
Okay, so as this, if you've been detected by this person, place, or thing, whatever, concrete noun ahead of you, it either doesn't care or it has not detected you, as there is still just kind of a rhythmic. It stops for a moment, and as you're, I don't know, weighing your options, or you're like, oh, can we duck off to the side? There's plenty of places to hide. You could hide under corpses, behind corpses, on top of corpses. You could hide anywhere that there's a corpse, and there's corpses everywhere. But it stops, and you just hear kind of like a slurp, like a ripping slurp sound. And then once more it goes, but it is getting closer at a steady pace.
I'm going to cast Spike Growth.
Oh.
Oh.
Are you putting it along the kind of vague path that's been...
I'm putting it in the direction that it is coming towards us, so that we can leave.
Is the compass pointing towards it, or is it pointing elsewhere?
The compass is no longer pointing. It fell off at some point in time. You can try again if you'd like.
I would like to.
Sure.
Because I want to know if this creature has anything to do with that.
Are you searching for the creature, or are you...
No, I'm searching for Jaden.
Oh, okay, sure. All right. Go ahead and make another charisma save.
No whammies.
No whammy. Oh, no. 26. All right.
26.
You begin to think of Jaden, and you're hearing the... this time, especially now that it's been pointed out, you can feel your eyes rolling. And it doesn't hurt. Maybe it's a little gross. I don't know. They open, and once more you get that line that just drips down the compass, and it is pointing in the direction that you have been traveling. Though the way you've been traveling is also the direction of this clomping. Now, it doesn't mean you can't duck off the path, but it is still pointing in the same direction.
I think I want to duck off the path so that wherever it's going, it doesn't detect us.
Okay.
That's what I want to do. Let it pass, see if that triggers the compass. If not, we keep going.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do each of you want to break off and hide? Obviously, Casimir casting spike growth.
Yeah, I'll stay with Mordecai.
Okay.
No reason for us to split up.
Then
hiding.
I'm not that good at hiding.
there is enough stuff, limited, not limited to, but including corpses.
I have 2 ways of disadvantage with my armor and with my exhaustion.
Yes.
I'm not hiding.
You actually have 3 because you're poisoned too.
I'm not. That's the only thing.
Oh right, you're not poisoned.
Each of you then, because you would normally.
I can attempt, but
each of you can roll stealth just straight up because there's enough cover and time and other things that can partially counteract your poisoned state as you try and hold in your coughs.
Come on, I have +8 to that.
11. Oh yeah,
no.
I know because Bright's the little detective, like the little private eye.
But with the smoke, is it also like an obscurant?
Oh, let me see if the thing happens.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Oh no. I was going to check Mask of the Wild.
Would hide in plain sight work for this?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of fog and other things.
For Casimir.
Yeah. Casimir, you can just sort of like lean on a sword and pretend like it, I don't know, it went through you or something. Play dead. Okay. The shape is coming closer through the smoke.
Oh.
And?
Well, because of the spike growth, it is obscured by the smoke.
Okay.
So they would have to make a perception.
Yeah, that is it is not going to be enough. Is that for this is versus your spell save DC.
Spell save.
I imagine it's higher than 9.
Yes. So
Okay.
it's 30.
So this shape does clomp forward, and it is going to end up interacting with your spike growth, and it is
2d4 piercing for every 5 feet.
okay. It stops, and you hear the sound of metal, like tang, as some of these spikes apparently are piercing through metal, and the clunking stops. You all see a person in full plate armor, standing maybe 15-ish feet tall, and it simply looks down at its foot and takes a step back and raises its head up and looks around. As it does, there's just an eerie green glow coming from where its eyes were hitherto for.
Does it look like it's human?
It's humanoid, covered in metal that is kind of rusted, has the same appearance, almost like the blood and mud and dirt and just leftovers that are here. And on the full plate armor of this big creature, you see several bodies that either it's impaling or like on itself or on the spikes as it's traveling, because there are several bodies just draped on these retainer like meat hooks on its armor. But it stops after its foot is punctured. You all were in this mindset, and I can tell you for certain the way that this appears is not modern, nor this old Shadahar style. The appearance of the armor, or even what this thing could be, this is in juxtaposition to the old dead that are around you in their weapons of war.
It looks very different.
Yes. It does not. If it sees you, it's not acting. It does, but it has stopped on the perimeter of the spike growth and is looking around.
Mordecai just kind of thinks to himself, or says under his breath, very, very quietly, "I wish Casimir didn't do that. Should have just let it go."
Does it look enraged, or does it look like it's looking for us, or is it just like wondering what's going on with the spike growth?
It looks ponderous in terms of its girth and its demeanor.
Oh, okay.
Reaches over, pulls a spear out of the ground. Its green eyes flare up for a second as it seems to be looking at it, and simply seems to like sheath this big spear, or probably more like a pike, given its size, this pike into, I guess, a slot in its armor or something, and it turns and starts trudging. Instead of coming forward to you, it starts trudging up this hill over on the side, having little difficulty with it.
Let it disappear out of sight, and then keep going in the direction that the compass went.
Yep.
Being very quiet, as to not attract its attention.
Okay. The end up fading, presumably leaving this thing behind you. Casimir is very quick to put away his Legos so you don't step on them, and you continue forward.
Quietly.
How interesting. Well, Mordecai, please listen in case he comes back.
Oh yeah. I
These
do
things-
not want us to get jumped.
Use those New Year's.
Yeah.
Okay.
You pass by the hand that had been reaching up, and the hand doesn't have that Fomorian purple to it. It would be more of a ruddy-looking flesh, although it has since been turned a couple different colors in this state of death. Though with as old as it is, it seems like decomposition might not exactly be a thing around here. The arm that you see, though, is larger. I mean, this arm is probably as big as a Fomorian stood. So you're getting, like, a part of an arm, like the elbow. It must have been severed, and the elbow was sunk into the dirt here. And you just have this hand.
Like it's much larger than a Fomorian would be.
Yes.
Like, that's gargantuan.
Yeah. That was the thing I was going to ask is, I mean, this isn't really a giant-sized hand. It's too giant for that.
Yeah. Unless the
So-
giants were that giant, and the
Well-
Fomorians are just the little guys.
Yeah, it's possible. Okay.
It's like titans.
Yes. I'm going to go ahead and use a mold earth to dig a little hole right next to the giant hand and see, just dig 10 or 15 feet down with it.
Sure.
And see how far deep it goes.
Okay. Yep. Gloop, gloop, gloop. Down, or pushed away magically, goes this rancid mud. And, you hit a point where your spell does not work. Probably about 2 digs down. So more like 8 feet than the 10, but you could have gotten 10, but you didn't. So for a second you feel a little, you feel kind of gypped out of your extra 2 feet of spell. However, the reason why it didn't manifest is because it looks like there's something metallic that is your spell can't interact with it. It's not a strong enough earthbender. So, but there is something metal stuck in the mud by the, I guess, elbowish area that would presumably be at the base?
Well, I mean, I'm doing archaeology now, so we'll just be excavating around. I mean, I know I can't move the metal, but maybe I can uncover more of it.
Okay. You do so easily enough, 5 feet at a time, and it's a metal disc of some variety that you're going to need a couple hands to help with. I presume any of you would be willing to.
Yeah, help her. Yeah.
It could just be like a giant buckler. I'm calling them a giant.
Giants. Yes.
Heave ho. You all put your backs into it. Mordecai, you don't hear any more of the stomping and slurping through. And with a little bit of help, too, to get the suction of the mud and stuff away. You know, Bright is supervising, but she's actually doing something as a supervisor, which is really cool of her. You pull this maybe 4 or 5 foot in diameter disc over. And in the center of it, you see an image of a woman smiling with an aura around her. And what's odd about her, maybe, compared to what you're used to, is she does have, she has one normal eye, and the other eye seems to be bigger, more maybe observant. At the same time, you are getting super Weejas vibes. But Weejas has half her face gone. This version of her is whole, but it's like she's giving you a discerning, you know, it would give you the vibe of kind of like an Eye of Providence on the dollar bill kind of a thing. Like it's an evil eye, a mystic eye, instead of a dead eye. And she also has her face. Her features are not quite the gorgeous humanoid that you might be used to. But we're looking at, I mean, if this isn't maybe a primitive in context Weejas, then I mean, maybe, I don't know.
Definitely gives me Fomorian vibes.
Yeah, the one eye. I mean, this could also represent the knowledge aspect of Weejas rather than the death aspect.
That's true.
Or maybe a time when they were closer together, right? We know about the history of that.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't used to be so separate.
Mordecai, Celine, you'd have to reference the book. If you want to open it up here in the middle of this weird swamp, I guess you could. But yeah. Celine might have made some notes about something. There's an interaction with the Fomorians, something about an eye, something along those lines. But what you see is a broken chain, and what may very well be, Mordecai, you might be looking at, I guess, a holy symbol? Maybe this hand, this forearm, belonged to a worshiper, a cleric, a high officiant of this goddess.
Interesting. I'll definitely take a look into the journal and see if I can find the page that was mentioned on.
Lethality, if you still have any of those notes, or if you recall from your interaction with the Fomorians and the Red Lady, you can fill in some details.
Yep. So basically, there was a note that they kind of didn't act so different. Like, as far as the thing with Weejas goes, they kind of weren't surprised about her existence and whatnot. It was as if Celine had kind of pondered they may have already known about her existence in one form or another. The big thing with the Fomorians of the Eye was that, you know, that bug eye was kind of their marking. All of them had it. was kind of what made them them. It was one of their very distinguishing features.
Right.
Yeah.
As far as between that and A Link with Weejas goes, there isn't too much to note.
I do forget the specific episode number, but that is knowledge that would be accessible through her book if you wanted to go back and watch that clip. Because she ended up leaving Flowerfield, and this was also when the Fomorians were re-emerging, re-manifesting, sort of tearing themselves back into reality from some place that they were at. So,
yeah, I remember that.
Considerations. But anyway, you find this this holy symbol, which is pretty well untarnished gold. So, I don't know. It's very heavy. Took a lot of your efforts, magical and mundane, and using levers. I don't know if you have need of a 4-foot in diameter golden disc of ancient Weejas.
Is it actually golden?
Yes.
It would make a nice trinket to take back, but
Yeah,
how do we store that thing?
How much does it weigh? Can Jasper carry it?
It would be way too heavy.
I have Smith balls. Could we break it apart?
Oh yeah, if you want to break a chunk of it off, you could carry it with you. But this is a wide disc.
Honestly,
of gold.
we need money.
It's an artifact.
I don't.
Sell it whole.
I hate to cut it up, but if we can't lift it, we can't lift it. It's just a red herring.
Jasper has a +4 to strength.
Without calculating the volume of a 4-foot wide disc of gold, I as a DM, I'm going to rule it's very heavy. So if you have a spell that could fudge a very heavy something or other, but I think that would be too much for even Jasper.
Only cast levitate once per day.
Yeah. I can cast it as many times as I want.
I don't have Tensor's floating disc.
No, but I have Ascendant Step. So I can cast it.
Levitate at will.
I can cast Levitate at will. Without a spell slot. So, question, Maddie.
Yes.
You said it's 4-foot diameter.
Yes.
How thick is the disc?
Let's do some
We're gonna
math.
do some weight calculations.
Yeah. find the weight of a volume of gold for a cylinder that is 4 feet wide and let's see, if I'm holding, that would probably be about half an inch. So probably, let's say 8 inches thick.
Oh, wow, that's really, really thick.
That's very thick.
Okay, so there's approximately 9.42 cubic feet of gold here.
Yeah, that's a lot of gold.
So,
suffice it to say, it's all the gold.
Yeah.
Are you sure you don't want to?
Jasper can safely carry 250 pounds.
Okay, so if we had about 100 of him.
I can summon birds. Or something stronger. Derpy snake you could, Gary.
I think that'd be even big for the constrictor to carry.
He's a huge creature.
But Cypher can cast Levitate at will, so...
yeah. Yeah, I can.
It has a weight limit in it. Less than 500 pounds.
Yeah, no, I can't carry 11,000 pounds.
Well,
How did we lift up at 11,000 pounds?
That's a very good question.
But
you did.
because to leverage it out of the ground, just to flip it over, doesn't actually take a lot of effort, especially with the fact that we can use leverage and levers and stuff like that.
Well, and maybe we were just excavating it. Maybe we only had
But
to move
to lift the disc in neutral would require the ability to lift what? How many pounds are in an imperial ton?
2,000.
2,000.
So yeah, about 5 tons of gold.
All right, so I use Smith's tools and we start shaving.
Yeah, no, we start shaving.
Still gotta keep going though.
I would like all 4 of you to make an intelligence saving throw.
Oh.
An intelligence save? Oh
yeah.
no.
But
Oh come on!
Oh, Bright.
Plus 10 to that.
That's a 12.
Yay!
No,
Yay,
yeah.
Casimir finally
Okay.
won a save.
Probably this is
a save
the
and not a check.
this is probably the this is not a good idea. Don't do it, save.
So, Bright, you know, these calculations are going on, and you, No. You can do this with a levitate. And you just get a gleam in your eye that matches this beautiful gold disc.
Oh, no.
And there is a confidence that if you were to levitate this disc, as despite how massive it is, that you would be able to do that. And you could take this with you. Now, you don't have to, but you feel very confident that you could. And so then the question is, would you like to?
Well, so do you want... So here's the funny thing is that I don't have any spells that can do that.
I do. I'm the one with the
I mean,
spell.
you can just
So
suggest
worst
that we
case,
try.
I could... Yeah, but see, I don't have any of my mind control spells even prepared. Because
You
we're
can
coming out
just-
of
no,
fucking
you can
mind
just-
control minds.
Physically suggest. That's my
Oh,
first try.
If you would like to
Oh.
get someone else to do it, you're welcome to do that as well.
So, I mean, Professor, I think you could... I mean, what does it hurt to try, right? I mean, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but probably will. I mean, we're in a funny, magical place, and lots of weird things are happening here, and I mean, I think it's at least worth a try.
I suppose you're not wrong in that.
Wait,
I'm going to attempt to cast levitate on it.
wait. Is
Okay.
this... Is
that
this even
hollow?
possible? Mordecai starts doing the math in his head.
Yeah, we get the panels, like you're calculating the volume of a cylinder and all this other stuff. And...
Yeah.
Casimir's just getting his Smith's tools out, waiting.
Okay.
Okay, so
If
it's
it doesn't
actually about,
work.
it's actually about 20 times too heavy.
Okay.
That's good.
So you're taking the suggestion from Bright, Professor, and at first there's resistance to the spell, but it is shaking. Like, it is kind of like, like it's lifting a little bit, like some mud is coming off. Apparently it's working. And I guess the question is, do you want to levitate this? Do you want this to work? It appears to be, but you're having to control it. You're kind of fighting with this thing to get it. You know, you got to lift the X-Wing out of the swamp. Are you pouring yourself into this, or are you like, oh, that's cool, and are you letting it go? There may be a third choice you come up with, but that's generally what I'm looking for.
Go on, do or do not. There's no try.
I can make it float. Do we want to take it with us? Because I can make it float.
I wish I had my debigulate spell. I'd use that.
You didn't prepare it.
I didn't bring... Why would I bring debigulate to hell?
Well, shrink ray a demon?
Is this a good idea? Do I...
Of course it's a good idea.
That's a lot of gold.
We wanted to save the artifact. Think how much historical value it would have. How much scientific and magical value, archaeological, to bring this back. It's not just the money. I mean, think about what those cheap museum people were going to give us for one dragon scale. This has to be worth 100 times that.
And normally I would agree with you, right? Normally I would agree with you if we were in Mesomasca, 100%. But this is dense fog. This is hell. Do we really want to be futzing with anything?
I mean,
push comes to shove, we could use it as a shield.
Yeah.
It's too big for that.
I mean, under normal circumstances, I would say we could just leave it and come back for it.
It's bigger than Bright.
Of course it's bigger than me.
It's bigger than me. But basically, no, I can basically just flip it up and hold it forward, and we have this bulwark of golden holy fury. I feel like I've heard this somewhere. I feel like I've heard this somewhere before.
I think maybe it just does a test of faith. Mordecai, I mean, if you really believe in Ouija's, maybe if you really believe, it would help us lift it. You could, hook into the holy symbol part of it.
Yes, there's the barest whisper of a female voice saying, "Purge the heretics on the wind."
Right. I guess.
It's a disc of gold. Push comes to shove, it's something we can put in our way to defend us.
I mean,
right.
If push comes to shove, we could push it.
Also, wait. Idea forms.
Uh-huh.
Do you have teleportation circle, Mordecai?
I can't cast it right now. I'm a little spent.
But you do have it though, right?
I do.
You know what this could be?
What?
A mobile teleportation circle. All you have to do is get Casimir to engrave the circle into the other side of the disc. And it's literally a permanent.
To do.
That's to make the magic permanent.
You might have that time.
That's to make the magic permanent.
I can draw a circle on anything, and I can use that circle to go anywhere.
Yeah,
but that doesn't take the object with me.
This is just a mobile disc. Just in case.
I can draw it on the ground too.
It's not as mobile as we'd like it to be.
No.
That's the whole
I can just
problem.
draw a circle on the ground, and it's fine.
Okay. Either way, I've got it levitating, so I may as well just continue to push it, And I should be able to just push it along with little resistance.
If that dude, the big, tall, MFer, I'm trying not to swear.
We used to.
If that happens, I will drop the disc. I'll drop the disc on it. Then it will be dead.
Well,
let's do it.
That's not necessarily how levitate works, but
Well, I mean, it.
You can push it in a direction; it'll go that direction until it reaches
up to 20 feet, and that guy was. 50.
The target floats gently to the ground. But I mean, if I drop it 20 feet as an action, that's still slamming 5 tons into the ground. 20 feet in 6 seconds.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
So we're gonna.
This is not my idea.
I'm just gonna push the disc along.
Sure.
I think it's a great idea. I'm just not going to stand under it.
That is completely acceptable.
Actually, that's a thing. Hey, Brian.
Yeah. I'm not going to stand under it.
No, not under it. Hey, Casimir, would you put Bright on top of the disc?
I pick up a little one.
Okay.
Why would you do that?
I just said.
Well, considering we can't fly through here, given the fog and stuff, and Bright is shorter and moves slower than we do, I can just push her along.
Shorter. But I'm happy to ride the disc, it's fun. Whee.
And I'm just gonna start pushing the disc in the direction that we have to go.
All right.
Okay.
Mordecai.
Just push it like a shopping cart.
Yeah, that's exactly how you do it. Yeah.
Mordecai and Casimir, then, are you how are you assisting, or what
I'll
do you?
Put on the little seatbelt.
I will assist with the push.
Okay.
I'm just keeping my eyes on the air and my ears open because I don't know that this is a great idea. But,
Okay.
you know, we'll go with it. I'm not leaving them. So, let's go.
Okay. You are floating along with this disc through the fog. And Mordecai, you do hear once more, puff, 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 but it's coming more quickly. And from behind you, in the direction that you have been traveling for another short while. Puff, 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 puff.
It's coming back. It's coming back. We've got to hide.
Does it sound like he's running at us?
Yeah.
It's jogging. Spike growth? Okay.
Behind us.
Sure.
Block our path.
Okay.
Okay.
No, we're getting out of here.
Yeah.
Okay. It is. It is going to end up. You see this thing now charging through the swirling smoke. It does interact, and you hear your spikes penetrate its feet once more. It doesn't seem to. I mean, it's penetrating the armor, but it doesn't seem to care in that moment.
How many feet does he travel?
We've anchored it.
What's that?
How many feet
It's
does he
20-foot
travel?
radius, so I'm guessing it's traveling through all of it.
30 feet.
Okay, 30 feet, so...
Oh, it's a 20-foot radius, so it'll be taking...
Oh, yeah. So it'll...
six...
So
six
it'll still be in it. So this
12
thing
people.
is... I'm going to say from the edge of the... So there's still 10 feet of spikes it has to start in. I'd say you all as a party have... you have 60 feet between you and it, but 10 of those feet from it to you are spikes that it still has to go through.
Which is difficult terrain for it. And it's difficult terrain
It's
for it.
difficult terrain, and I'm trying to calculate how much damage.
It's
Okay.
12 people.
12 feet.
What would you like to do? As it does seem to be on a direct path towards you.
635.
We have anchored it. Should we just go?
So I'm gonna usher you all like to go in front. Basically, gonna usher you all to like go in front so that I'm at the rear, including Bright. So getting Casimir to grab Bright, and I'm ready to literally just rotate this thing 90 degrees and push it forward.
Okay. Bright, are you sliding off?
I don't understand what the professor's doing exactly.
Basically,
I think I am picking up
you
the
guys.
one again.
Yeah, basically ushering you guys just in case it does decide to charge after us, so that I'm at the back and just shove the disc at it.
I don't want to do that. We should keep the disc, not like throw it around randomly. I mean, if we have to put it down to fight, then we have to put it down to fight. But I mean, why would we throw it? That's weird.
Because it's a big, heavy object that can probably incapacitate it in one hit.
You feel very confident in that assertion, Mordecai and Professor.
Do it.
Okay, well, I guess I better get off. But
Yeah,
Right.
Casimir is gonna grab Bright.
this doesn't seem like a good choice. This doesn't. Why would we throw it away after we went through all that work?
Because
No,
if we knock it out, we can go get it again. It's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
That's
think
the
that's
thing, if
gonna,
we-
I don't think that's gonna do the right thing.
to be fair.
Do it, Professor!
Yep, and I'm just gonna flatten it,
Okay.
the disc.
It begins its charge again, moving through the spikes. It's going to lose, a little bit of momentum, but it's still coming your way. You set
How much
this
damage?
big gold disc down, and bing, and it. It's a semi truck running over a can of baked beans. Pretty much that noise too. And this thing just explodes, and there's goo inside of it. But aside from that, it's, I guess, just hollow metal armor. But it did have like some juicy bits in that kind of transmogrifying goo. But honestly, as it's kind of, it's being replaced by the, the slick wet blood of the mud. So by the time that the coin finishes and just kind of like, it even just sort of like sinks into the mud and it's just on its edge, but it's like, it's down in the mud some. You have this thing that has just been squished in half and is just lying there, motionless.
Alright, take coin, let's go.
Effective.
We should do that for everything.
Yep. So, I'm just going to use levitate to pick up the disc again.
Yep. Ooh.
And
it's even easier this time. You're getting the hang of this.
Levitate to pull it behind me. It's an effective... At the very least, it's an effective weapon. I'm going to make sure to keep a little bit of distance between me and it, though, so that I don't get splashed with transmogrifying goo.
I'm a little surprised. I thought that he would have, caught the disc and turned into a super giant.
Nope. Just...
Seems a bit improbable.
You know
what
I miss? I miss being 100 feet tall.
Oh,
that would be perfect for this right now.
Yeah, those are the days.
You are...
Do we remember that?
Yeah.
Remember how I was 100 feet tall?
So as you're passing by with the coin, you do see that stamped into this armor exoskeleton something, is a partial maker's mark. That simply says, property of, and it's kind of squished out from there. You can't read it. It's destroyed. But this does seem to be a thing, a person or former person that was in some sort of service or in an ownership agreement with...
In what language?
In this old infernal.
Okay.
So like some Shadahar.
Yeah, like what Big Guy was talking.
Interesting. Well, keep following the compass.
Yeah. With the disc.
Okay, so while we're going along, since I'm writing on it anyway, I'm going to use my mage hand to wipe a clean spot for me to sit on. I'm going to go ahead and identify it while we're going along.
Yep. Wipe the thing clean of the transmogrifying goop.
You can use the prestidigitation.
That is actually...
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, I guess I could have, but I just wanted to wipe it off, I guess.
Let me... you are going to get a... some information off of it while you're riding along. I got to find the right spell. Firstly. There we go. Ah, very good. So yeah, you are getting a over time as you're marching. You are getting an enchantment direction of this disc, and this disc is meant to. This disc is meant to inspire, or to cause fervor. It's a big icon of presumably a religion or a deeply held faith, and it is glowing with some magic that will, though it doesn't seem to be how do I put this, passive magic. It's none of you had to make a save or anything. None of you had to it's not tickling your brain in a sense, but this is definitely a source of enchantment magic that is meant to inspire. And I need Casimir. I want Casimir to roll a Armorcraft wisdom check. I guess it's blacksmithing.
It's disadvantage because of exhaustion.
Okay. Was it armor? Maybe, maybe not. You're not too sure now that knowing that there was kind of a juicy nougat center to that thing. But what is something that is obvious, especially to someone who does make armor, is that if there was some kind of a maker's mark or, you know, a property of please return to kind of a thing, that would most likely mean that there is someone that has made this thing. And it's disjointed enough that this person is not native to this weird, smoky battlefield place of death. So there... And you've also seen that there's, I mean, besides the kind of weird flesh goo people, there is someone with some intelligence. You know, there's magic items. This person, this thing, acted with, you know, a semblance of intelligence and also had a good deal of luck. Because he probably shouldn't have broken away and took that AO, but he did anyway. So there's other people. There's other, maybe the place that where Jaden has or something, but there's at least something more definitive out there other than just something. And you emerge from the smoke.
Oh, glad to hear that.
You're riding on the back of the coin, and you are all feeling just, I mean, you have tons of gold. You have this ancient relic. You know, you're on the way to save Jaden. You know, you defeated this thing, and all of you are feeling just on top of the world, bright even more so because you're kind of on top of something else. And the smoke even begins to fade. You know, Casimir, you know, you're talking about this. Well, you know, someone makes it has to go get repaired, or there's someone who needs these things, or it looked like he was collecting weapons or something along those lines. And ahead, across, now it is, we've gone back to that kind of cracked wasteland, though it doesn't look as bleak. It doesn't look as terrible. In so much that at least it's not a blasted hellscape. It is simply just a hellscape. The clouds are still churning in red, but there's not all of the fireballs. Occasionally one might fall. The lightning is still traveling kind of in one direction for the most part. And there's an occasional lightning strike. But ahead through the mists and through everything, you do see a glow. Probably a lot of lava or fire ahead, or another, maybe you found the source of the ambient directionless light. And there is a large wall. There is maybe a city or something that is ahead of you. And set against the mountains in the background, which have returned, this is at least something you can see, something that appears closer. And something that does seem to actually be getting closer as you're continually levitating this coin forward. And as you're doing so... But, wrong one. Hang on. I'm sorry. You've arrived in... no, damn it. This is an actual place. Anyway. Oh, here we go. All right. So ahead, with some smoke, lava, all the accoutrements that you hope you'd never encounter, but you knew you were going to, is some kind of a city. Some kind of a place that lies beyond the smoke of the battlefield, and that is, well, there's people, there's a society, there's others, there's help, there's Jaden, there's enemies, who knows? But there's a lot of something ahead of you. And as you continue forward towards here, before we end up parting for another week, because it's almost time, as sad as I am to say that, I need you each to do two things. One, I want each of you to level up. And two, I want each of you to change your alignments to evil. As the gold and the avarice have settled in and are empowering you, you are stronger for it. No one was using that disc anyway. A bunch of dead people. It's going to serve you so much better. That thing was after you. It was going to kill you. And you've done the impossible. You lifted it out of the mud when it was impossible. You destroyed this thing when you shouldn't have been able to do so. But you have. Because you took action. Because you applied yourself. You asserted yourself. And because of that, you're stronger.
It's the magic.
And so for whatever, if you're, I don't know if you're chaotic good, I'll let you choose your brand of evil. I'm not going to force you choose your flavor. However, it would seem that this encounter has strengthened you, but perhaps at a cost. And we'll pick up here.
Why did I have to fail that save? I have plus 10.
See. I see what's going on here.
Uh-oh.
I mean, alignment changing artifacts aren't out too much of the ordinary. And
Yes, but that change is more to kind of chaotic evil now.
Well, no, you can pick.
If
you
don't want to be, I am willing to let you play chaotic evil. You can lean into it. Chaotic evil, as I say many times in the workshop, you don't have to kick puppies and burn down orphanages. You can still act.
Could if you wanted to.
It's just that you're passionate, but you're very selfish about your passion.
Neither chaotic or neutral.
But if you would choose to play neutral evil, or I don't know, if you're chaotic good and you wanted to go lawful evil as more of a flip, because now you're like, oh no, I understand organization and methodology, and now that I have my thing, I can organize around the protection of this thing. You can do that too. But the four of you, in some way, are evil. You're carrying around, 11,000 pounds of gold? And you're stronger because you're letting yourselves be empowered. You're letting yourselves determine what you want and where you want to go. It seems to be that easy. You just apply yourself and you get what you want. You get what you deserve. Really. These people owe you your friend. They took her from you. These are thoughts that you can use for inspiration. I'm not going to tell you exactly how to think, just that the greed has rewarded you and empowered you.
Big old booty butts. Leveling up to 14. Yes.
And we are 8 hours into the post-force field. Like, the taking down the force field. Just as a heads up.
Okay, so my mage armor's gone. So, okay, we're still live, though.
Yeah, and if you have any other questions, otherwise I can take us to a raid and wrap things up if you have some off-screen stuff you want to talk about.
That doesn't necessarily have to be off-screen, but it's a little bit meta-character, so usually, I don't know, how do you want to do it?
Okay, well then, yeah, sure, let's do this. While you are all working on that, for all of you out there, Obsidian, Grogrin, Kobold, Sprig, well, I mean, I see Lethality and Dark Wolf and my players as well. Dysfemist was hanging out and making commentary. For all of you who've come in, Pilfer Pup, Grindel, hello. For all of you that have stopped by, you've watched, I hope that you've enjoyed, as our players continue to traipse through the Nether in order to find out what's going on, recover their friend, and apparently ingratiate and empower themselves beyond their wildest dreams. So what we're going to do is find... Hey, Bane! We're going to find someone to raid and spread the love and the joy and the wonderment of the D's and D's. And I think that we can do so with... Ah, yes. I owe a return raid to D20 TV. So I'm going to return that favor. Raid D20... Oh. That's... Why did it copy everything else except... D_20 TV. Hey, there we go. So, come along with us. We're gonna raid, find out what they're happening at what's happening at their D&D tabletop, and I'll see you all around on Discord. We'll come back again next Tuesday to find out what is going on with the physical, spiritual, moral, or mental perils that the players are going to go through with their characters. Kobold. Yeah, have a good night as well. Thank you for hanging out with us. And by the way, yes, playing dead in front of a cadaver collector probably wouldn't be a wise idea. You were absolutely correct in that regard.
No, it really wouldn't.
Unintended consequences.
You either fight it or get collected, is what happens. If I get collected, it's you get stuck on a pike.
Here we go. Let's raid!